it's Ashlyn. I thought about making this video because my animals were being really annoying, and I wanted to give everybody the chance to take their animals to Hawaii, even though they're annoying. and kind of lay out the process that Steven and I have gone through in order to get our animals there and not have to go through quarantine. So if you don't know, Hawaii is a rabies-free state, and they make you go through a 120-day quarantine if you do not follow the guidelines beforehand. I'm going to be using Steven's phone to kind of go off what we've done, and so that's why I might be looking down below. We decided that DAR, direct airport release, would be best for our family because we didn't want to be away from our animals at all, and we were flying into Honolulu. That costs $185. There is also a 5-day or less program where the animal would have to stay in quarantine for 5 days. And there's also the 120-day quarantine. And there's also a neighbor island inspection permit that you may have to get. If you do plan on going, go on the USDA Hawaiian.gov website for animal quarantine requirements. So this is what we did for DAR, direct airport release. The first step was on the checklist was to make sure that the animals had microchips. Both of our animals had them. No big deal, they just had to be scanned, and the vet had to write down their microchip numbers on the AQS import form. Now, the second step were rabies vaccinations. They had to be up to date on their rabies vaccinations, and if they weren't, they had to get a new rabies vaccination. Both of the animals had previous vaccination records with the vet signature, expiration date, lot number on a piece of paper, but they didn't have a second one, so both animals had to have that. And then 30 days later, the third step was to have a rabies titer. It's a blood test. You take your animal to the vet, and they send the blood. It has to go to the Kansas State University for testing, and they have to prove that the animal has the antibody to ward off or not get rabies. And that gets sent to Hawaii. 30 days after that, the animal can then go to Hawaii, but 14 days before, the animal needs to go see a veterinarian. The veterinarian has to put flea medication on the animal themselves. They have to witness it, and it cannot be revolution. The other thing that the vet needs to do is create a health certificate for the animal to fly and for Hawaii. This is also for DAR, direct airport release from Honolulu. This is where it gets different if you're going to neighbor islands or the 5-day or less program. You then have to, 10 days before, all of your documents, including microchip, your import form, your titer, your rabies vaccinations, your health certificate, the flea medication. Don't get revolution. Don't get it. The flea medication all has to go in a packet with your import form. To Hawaii, we overnighted ours because it needed to get there on the 10th day, and the 14th day was before a 3-day weekend, so we had to overnight ours with a cashier's check or a money order for $185. Now, it's different if you choose a different type of airport release. It's $244 if you do the 5-day or less program, and then they charge you, I think, by the day if you want to do the 120-day program. So you send the entire packet there, and then your animal is free to go to Hawaii. Make sure that you keep copies of everything with you for the airline, and you also keep the documents attached to the cage. Hawaiian Airlines is very specific about the crates, so call ahead, get the dimensions that are required for your pet's size. They have to be labeled with live animal stickers with arrows pointing up for the right direction of the cage. They have to have a food bowl and a water bowl, but you don't have to feed them if you choose not to, if you don't want to clean up the mess. I would suggest waiting 4 hours beforehand. And then Hawaiian also suggested filling water bowls with water and freezing them so that way they can lick a little bit of the water but not drink too much and urinate everywhere. Our dog has to be at the airport in cargo 4 hours before our flight. He is more than 50 pounds or 75 pounds with his cage, so he has to go cargo. Our cat has to be there 2.5 hours before. Now, this is also when the health certificate comes in. The airport's going to want the health certificate just as bad as Hawaii did, so you're going to have to provide that then. Hello, purr. She has no idea what's going on. She's gonna flip when she has to go in her crate for so long. So, just want to recap. We are doing DAR. Very different from others, so make sure you double check the checklist. First step, microchip. Second step was 2 rabies. Third step was the titer. And then the health certificate 14 days before with flea medication. 10 days before you have to send in your documentation with a check, and make sure your animals get to the airport at the correct time. I think that's about it. I will have Steven list the HOA, HDOA Hawaii.gov link down below. One thing that's different from DAR versus the 5-day or less program or the neighbor island permit is that you have to send your documents 30 days beforehand. So it won't include the health certificate. And then they do charge extra fees if you don't get them the documents in time, or they could just keep your animal for more time. So double check. And a little tip, not a tip, but it just weighs heavy on my heart. If you adopt an animal, be a good parent, be a good animal lover, and take care of them for the entirety of their life. You brought them into their family, make sure they die a part of your family. Just because you're moving to a new, interesting place, take them with you, let them be a part of it. When you adopted them, you promised them that you would take care of them for life, so make sure you carry that out. And I hope that this video helps. I found that sending our animals to Hawaii with us was challenging because it's hard to find clear, concise information on their website, and videos tend to go really fast, and I couldn't take the time to take all of the information in. So thank you, and I hope you find this video useful, and leave comments down below if you have any questions. I'd be more than welcome to answer them, or get you to somebody that may be able to answer them better than I could. So thank you, bye. P.S. clarification. DAR, direct airport release, is into Honolulu. You can do DAR into other islands, but in order to do that, you do need to do the neighbor island inspection checklist, which is a completely different checklist from the DAR to Honolulu. You have to send the documents 30 days beforehand, like I mentioned in the video. Just wanted to clarify, DAR to Honolulu versus DAR to other islands, you need the neighbor island inspection checklist. Make sure you follow the checklist that suits you and your travel needs. Thank you.